Welcome to episode 95 of the Left Behind Game Club. This week, we play Florence. You can find all things Left Behind Game Club on Twitter at Left Behind Club, on Instagram at Left Behind Game Club, and on our website at leftbehindgame.club. If you want to join our Discord, there's a link on our website where you can come in, talk about video games, video game deals, or even topics that aren't video games. If you aren't subscribed to us on your podcasting platform of choice, we'd appreciate a subscribe and a review if you like the show. Let's get right into it. No, don't play that music because then I'll cry. Play the regular music. Thanks.
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Jacob McCord, and today I have three friends with me. The first friend, you know her, you love her. Her name is Katie Lesperance.
Hello.
My second friend, you also know him and love him. His name is Travis Colenutt.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm great.
It's great to have you back. And our third friend, Jessica Fantauzzo.
Hello.
I remembered your name.
Hi.
Is that going to be our new thing? Me just going,
Hi. Please, hi. I hope not.
I hope not. I hope not as well. Today we are here to talk about Florence, which is a very unique video game developed by Mountains and published by Annapurna Interactive, released on iOS first on February 14th, 2018, Valentine's Day, then on Android, and then again on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Nintendo Switch. So if you had to explain what Florence is, and we're going to go around and talk about this. If you had to explain what Florence is in one sentence, if you had to give the fast pitch on it, what would it be? Let's start with Jessica, because you just finished playing it.
Like 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. In one short sentence.
Yeah.
Florence is a coming of age love story.
Travis?
WarioWare in story form.
Very good. Katie?
We're going to sandwich that in between basically the beginning and then the fizzle and end of a relationship.
Ooh. And I would say it's 500 days of video games.
Oh.
No.
How did you guys play Florence? I played it on iOS. How did you play it?
I played it on iOS as well.
My child, the Nintendo Switch.
iOS on my phone, actually in the tub.
Oh.
Stop. Okay. Set a scene for us and tell us exactly how you played this game.
Well, I was like, you know what? It's a 45 minute game. I was like, that sounds perfect. So, tub, bath bomb. I had my phone. I'm in the tub, and then I realized it tells me to use headphones, which I always, if a game recommends it, I'm like, well, I should do it. Whether, it might matter, it might not, but I should do it. They're telling me to. So I took the risk and got my iPhone headphones and was just like, we'll see. We'll see if either my headphones die or I die or what's going to happen.
From electrocution.
Everyone made it out.
Okay, good.
We're good.
Are you sure everyone made it out?
Yes. The headphones work.
Oh, I meant in the actual game itself.
Oh, well.
So who wants to set up kind of how Florence starts?
This is interesting because, I've never played a game like this before.
Yep.
It's pretty much what kind of genre is this? This is just like a story.
It's like a graphic novel. It's like a visual novel.
Visual novel,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's very much like you just start this game and it just introduces you to Florence, and you just kind of are given a screen, and if you kind of play with one of the buttons, it maybe does something, right? So I think very early on, I think it's starting off with her waking up and it's just a buzzer that's just sounding. It's like because it's time for her to get out of bed, and you don't really know what to do. It doesn't really give you any indication right away, and so I'm just like, well, I'll just press A, and it like snoozes the button, snoozes the buzzer, right? And it comes up again, it snoozes the buzzer. So this is kind of like a snapshot into the kind of stuff that you're going to get in this game. Is just here's this story, and you're presented this story, and there's going to be little tiny mini games along the way where you maybe wiggle the joystick, or just scrolling through story panels, or piecing together pieces of something, or moving something, kind of a lot of clicking and moving objects around. Something I've never seen something like this before, at least. So
yeah, have either of you, Katie or Jessica, played anything like this game before?
No. No, it was definitely new, just like kind of refreshing and new, and kind of used all the stuff that you typically see in like tap-based, like screen-based games, but everything was really inventive and like intuitive. Like I liked it with tapping the screen.
Oh right, I guess you guys would have tapped a screen.
Yeah, so you tap the alarm clock.
Oh,
so you're kind of like hitting the snooze on the alarm clock when you tap it.
You know what?
Which I kind of like. I actually really like that.
Well, it was like real life.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh, 7? No, that's too early.
Yeah, no,
7:15.
smack that.
Okay, maybe.
Switch has a touch screen. I didn't even try touch control, so I don't even
like
know if
the
it
touch
works.
controls
I'm
a lot.
honestly not sure, but like I just used joystick and like buttons and stuff like that. So that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and so like the game is set up with Florence, who seems like a regular kind of mid-20s. I think what the game designer kind of pictured her as was Chinese Australian, because this game was actually developed by an Australian company.
Okay.
So essentially just walking through her life of a job that's pretty drab, that's pretty boring. She's in spreadsheets all day. So there's a matching game where you have to match
I wish
spreadsheets.
I had her job.
It
Oh my
sounds so
she just has
easy.
to, like put 7 and 7 together and you make money. Wow. Okay.
And then you clock out and you have your life.
Done.
Yeah, and it looked like she lives in a metropolis city. She maybe doesn't have that many friends. Her mother is on her about having a boyfriend.
That was a really nice little touch that it showed her and her friends. Like there was like a picture of her and her friends from when they're young, and they're like all tight together, and then you're moving along and you see them gradually kind of grow apart.
It's a clock.
Yeah.
So
so you're turning the
spinning a
clock,
yeah.
and then they're just kind of drifting away from you until you're just by yourself, which is true of like that part of that age where those friends from high school, like you're all making your own life and you're not talking as often. So yeah, it was really accurate.
We were actually talking about while Jessica was playing the game. I didn't mean to ratchet out again, but how, because we're a little bit older than Florence would be, about how just, you get to this age and you just grow apart from friends because, they have other commitments, circumstance, they live in different cities, they start to have kids. Like, I found what this game did really well is it really did a lot of the little things as well.
Yes.
Including the relationship between mother and daughter, especially trying to find out that, like, why don't you have a boyfriend yet?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we got a lot of those pressures when we were 25 from our parents. Maybe?
Yeah, I didn't feel like they really dug that relationship out too much. I mean, it's only a 45-minute game, so there's only so much development that could have happened there with the relationship. I think, not to spoil it, but I think the twist at the end, like not the twist, but like how that relationship ends up playing out through the rest of the game, I thought was a little bit nicer. But definitely like the nuances of her kind of going through the doldrums of her day and then like flipping through the little Instagram on the subway and like, she's fallen apart from her friends, but she's still like going through that routine
and
of
she
like
sees everyone else like in relationships
and
or
being
like
happy
you're traveling or
and-
their dog or whatever, and like just flipping through while you're in the middle of your day. That's not that interesting.
I liked every picture except I retweeted the dog.
Oh, I didn't like a single picture.
Oh, really?
Which is so me on the
Wait,
internet.
can you like flip by them?
I didn't know how to flip by them.
Oh, I thought you either had to retweet or like the pictures. Maybe you just liked
maybe
every
I
single one of them.
retweeted everyone. I thought I was like, nope. People think I care now. Oh my god.
I think it's fair to say if you've not played Florence and you're interested, all the value in playing Florence is actually playing Florence. So if you're listening to this, you've not played Florence and you're interested in any respect, hit stop on this, hit pause, come back to this after you've played and purchased Florence. Purchased and played Florence. So where does the game kind of go from there? That's when she meets a very special someone named Krish, right?
Yeah, so she's liking all those pictures and stuff, right? And she's walking down the subway, and then her phone battery dies, and then it kind of forces her to maybe be present in the moment. Which
being present in
you know
what?
that.
Her phone battery dies, and then you get caught in this beautiful scene. Like visually, I thought it was really gorgeous.
Nice.
Of her walking through and hearing music coming from down the street, and she notices Krish on the street, who's a musician, and he's playing. Is he playing the? I just finished this. I should know this.
I think cello.
The cello.
Yeah.
Some sort of string instrument. And that's kind of the first encounter, and then you kind of see her like daydreaming about him as the story progresses, and then eventually she runs into him on the street, gets like distracted by him, and knocks herself off of her bike.
Yeah.
And then he comes over in this like super cute rom-com moment.
It really was.
It really was.
Yeah, it really was a rom-com moment.
This whole game reminded me of 500 Days of Summer. Like I brought it up for a reason. Yeah, a very cute.
I think the words "meet cute" went through my brain when I saw that thing.
And I actually like peeked into the room that you were playing that specific section in. I know this sounds super creepy, but what I noticed as well is, at least on the iOS devices, you play most of the game vertically. But this section, if I remember correctly, you actually turn the screen horizontally, right?
Oh, really? That's cool.
You do. Well, and what's so funny though is when I was playing, I'm like, oh no, my phone's not working. I'm gonna have to I actually closed the game and rebooted
because you thought it was sideways.
Because I thought my screen had flipped and I turned off my rotating. But it does force you into landscape.
That's
to
funny.
play that scenario.
Yeah. What is it like on Switch?
It's all the same. Like, there's no switching around of the direction or anything like that. Just the scene just opens up a little bit, and then you control her as she you can catch the little sound notes as she's moving towards him and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and I just remember like his cello was yellow.
Yes,
very yellow. The music notes were yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys find that the use of color in this game was good? Because that's one of the things in my mind that comes out is like how this game uses color, especially with something that we didn't even talk about. Early in the game, you do some art as a child. You basically like go back to your childhood and be like, I used to like art until my mom said you need to learn math, so learn math. And you get to make your own little butterfly and your own little like ship out of stamps in the game.
Yeah, it was cute.
When you guys told me that it was only going to be 45 minutes, I was like, yeah, and I was like breezing through. And then as soon as I got
spent
to
like 5 minutes on the
boat.
boat.
As soon as I got to the boat, I'm like, I'll see you guys in 2 hours. I've got to plan for this boat.
My boat has to be the best boat.
Was it the best boat?
Well, I think it was.
Yeah, we were pretty impressed by it when you sent it over.
Your boat was better than my boat.
Yeah, what was your
my
boat?
boat was great.
It was fine.
Yeah, my boat and my butterfly weren't great.
Yeah.
No, my boat was great.
My boat was better than my butterfly.
I spent a lot of time on the boat, and then because I played it in the car ride here, and I was like, oh, I was really enjoying the boat, and I was like, oh, I'm taking too much time to do this boat. And then it goes to a butterfly, I'm like, uh-oh. I can't spend nearly as much time as I did on the boat on this butterfly. So I kind of like really quickly like jotted out the butterfly.
And then the butterfly keeps
butterfly's
recurring.
the thing that recurs all the time. And I'm like, why can't it be my beautiful boat?
So after you meet Krish, your relationship starts to kind of burgeon with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they start to see each other a little more. They start to have a lot of fun dates around the city, which like imagine that there's a map on the screen and you get to like touch all these little parts on the map and it shows all the cute dates that you've been on between Florence and Krish, which I thought was adorable.
It was very like early relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing all these fun things and like what are we going to do today? And,
Yeah, you're going to meet my family. Here's interestingly enough, he introduced her to his family and she did not introduce.
She was like, nope.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
I mean, from what they showed anyway. But
Yeah.
It seemed pointed.
Yeah, it seemed like a very, and again, I'm not a Chinese Australian, so I don't know, but there seems to be like a lot of pressure on kids in those type of, in parents with those type of kind of backgrounds.
I do wonder though, because in that section on the phone, at least with the Polaroids, like you had to kind of like tap the Polaroid and shake
you had
it.
to shake it.
Oh yeah,
Shake
use
it
the
like a
joystick and you
Polaroid.
shake
Okay.
the Polaroid.
That was
yeah.
like the most satisfying with the touch.
I really, really liked the use of the puzzle pieces for
Yes.
the dialogue.
Absolutely.
So, like, while they're on their little dates, he will have a little dialogue bubble that pops up. There's no words in it; it's just a color. And then below the image is going to be an empty dialogue box that she's going to say, and around it is a bunch of random puzzle pieces. And it's a very, very, very good metaphor for trying to find the right words to like sound interesting or, carry on the conversation. And it starts with maybe like 6 pieces to form this dialogue box. And then as the dates progress and as they keep going, it's less and less puzzle pieces. So
Yeah,
it's
it
easy.
just comes easier. The
Right,
conversation gets
it's
easier.
very
Yeah.
symbolic of real life. The conversation becomes very easy, and it's easier to answer. And then which ends up culminating in their first kiss is like the answers almost come perfectly to you.
Yeah, until it's the whole block. It's not
Exactly,
even
and
a
the whole
puzzle.
block just comes to you like it's not even a puzzle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and then they have their first kiss, which was like really really cute, and I really liked the puzzle aspects of the dialogue boxes, which then pop up later on in the game and change in different ways that I really really liked.
Yeah, it was really good mechanics
It was-
to drive home the emotional point
exactly
at the same time.
It was
Yeah.
like a perfect marriage of like the mechanics and the story working together to kind of drive home a point, like you're saying. So.
And I really like how you brought up WarioWare as like the
Yeah.
model for this
Yeah.
because you brush your teeth, which is like a 5-second mini game.
Right.
You hit the alarm clock. You do this dialogue thing, but nothing stays around for too. You shake the Polaroid.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing stays around for too long. But there aren't many games outside of WarioWare that I think I've seen this kind of like almost micro game thing being applied to.
And that's kind of the first thing that I thought of was like WarioWare games. I was like, oh yeah, this is like just this pretty much WarioWare. Even like down to like the visuals were very like kind of paper looking visuals.
Yeah.
And art style. Very WarioWare kind of esque.
And for someone who may not have played a WarioWare game, like what's the very like 10-second pitch on that game?
I mean, like, it's just a variety of these kinds of little mini games where it's like, dodge the arrows, and here comes a bunch of arrows, and you got to move out of the way to not hit them, right? Like, it's very quick, very, very speedy mini games. WarioWare is very much more crass than this. This is a very elegant game.
Yeah.
So, like, not a good comparison in terms of, like, the themes of the game,
Yeah.
but at least in terms of how the mini games play, it's very...
Krish would have to fart a whole bunch
Yeah,
for him
pretty
to
much
be similar to WarioWare.
similar at all to WarioWare, so...
Once they kind of had that first kiss, which to me is like the scene that I remember the most in the game of them coming together and like her polka dot dress, like in my mind, because there was no color, like it was black and white. Again, color. But after that, that's kind of the apex of the relationship, kind of the the honeymoon period, and
that and him moving in.
Yeah.
Was a big one.
Yeah.
And so obviously the relationship is progressing, and then it gets to where he is moving into her, wherever she stays.
Yep.
And then you open up the box of his stuff, and then you have to find places to put his stuff, but you have to take out some of your stuff to make room for him.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just was looking at it, and I was like, well, I was putting a little thought into it and trying to make room for almost all of his stuff.
Yep.
Instead of just being like, no, like, this is my space. And
Yeah.
there's no room for you. Like, no, you make room. And then...
Art reflecting life.
yeah,
reflecting
absolutely.
art.
That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's, you have to make some decisions.
Yeah.
You got to toss some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, he's got his like little statue. And then I was like, well, I have to make room for that because obviously it's important. I was like, I guess my teddy bear that's sitting there is probably less meaningful to me, I guess. So it's like, you make room.
But you don't need your superhero action figure? Did you chuck that one in the box?
I think I kept that.
I actually chucked that one in the box, but that's probably just my own feelings that I had to
I
get
put it
over.
up.
Yeah, what's that?
That one went up. That one
Yeah.
went up.
Oh, really? Yeah,
shelf.
no, I think really impressive. Yeah, no, I didn't. I think I put the figure on the religious figure on the top shelf and the record player because I figured music and stuff like that. Like I'm going to take out some of my books and I'll put some of his records and stuff like that. So,
But did you guys pack the ketchup?
no, I took the ketchup out.
I took the ketchup out.
I was like, you need ketchup.
Yeah, when I realized this was an Australian game when there was Vegemite on the actual.
Oh yeah.
There's actually something earlier in the game as well where when you start to play, I think it's the second chapter, the memories chapter, where she opens the box. It's actually before the boat and the butterfly. And in the box, there's a little stuffed koala.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Oh. Around that time, that's when Florence kind of pushes Krish to pursue music education, right?
Yes.
Which is another kind of point in this relationship that like almost is like there's a stack of cards or a house of cards being created this whole entire game, and we'll see obviously where it falls, but she kind of says, hey, you're really talented, why don't you pursue musical education? And that to him almost takes the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I would.
I didn't notice that.
No?
Like,
what was
I
your
don't
take
know.
on
well,
that?
no, there is one there is one mini game where the enjoyment is taken out because there's a dream before this. After still the honeymoon period, I think the chapter is literally called Dreams, and you kind of erase like a cloud to create a dreamscape, and it's one is him playing music professionally and stuff. When after everything kind of starts to happen, there's a mini game where you're wiping away the yellow dreamscape and it shows reality, and he's a little bit more frustrated with it.
You might be right.
Yeah.
That might be the intention.
Was your interpretation different?
I read it as she's basically like rose-colored glasses are coming off, and maybe he's not as good, or it's not as magical as she thought it was.
Yeah.
Or that her vision of it isn't
right
as romantic or something as it is. But I don't know, you might be right. I'm not sure.
You're actually, I like your interpretation though. Yeah.
Whereas before it seemed like he was really talented, so for the notes to suddenly be wrong would be weird. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
I think it's just he's working at it, right? Like it's not just something that just magically comes. I think it's just a lot of work, right? And
yeah, I mean, I definitely, like, my first impression of it was definitely more that it was just like anything in life where you have this vision of it and then you pursue it, and then there's like the rigor and the hard work that comes into doing that. I think thinking about it now, it's kind of like the same metaphor that you see kind of play out with the relationship, where it's like they go through the honeymoon phase, and
the
they
shine
move in together,
kind of
the shine kind of comes off, and it's like sort of that
when
same
you literally
thing.
have a chapter called Routine,
Right?
You know what I mean?
Erosion.
I know erosion, right? And I see that, and it's
Erosion was harsh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, like. Stuff, there's always going to be that honeymoon period when things are new and fresh and everything, but I think what you're looking for in the long run, at least for me, is that stability, right? To kind of be able to keep pushing through. But if it doesn't work past that honeymoon stage, it's not going to work in the long run, right? Like, so it's interesting that they got to a stage of like routine, and they just weren't able to maintain the relationship once they got into that section. Spoilers. But
yeah, and I know you guys have already touched on it, but like maybe it's just that like he did music out of passion, and like he now spites her for like trying to.
Jess
Made a face. Spite. I don't think spite.
Hard of a
maybe
word.
he like keeps her like looks at her spitefully because like she forced him to give it up as his passion and like pursue this, and now it's something that maybe is poison to him. Your face right now.
I know she is. I'm gonna like.
I just don't know where. No, you go ahead.
Okay, you collect your thoughts.
Spite.
I just don't know where you've painted.
I don't know where
picture
spite comes from.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Did we play the same game?
I thought it was more of that he is kind of focusing all of his attention on this thing, and that it's drawing his focus away from the relationship, like that he wasn't splitting his time. That's how I read that it was like it's all going into that, whereas she's kind of like he's following his dreams a bit more, whereas she is not, because he at one point he gets her a palette, like a paint palette, and then it just kind of gets tucked away and piled under all these papers, and he's off doing his music thing, and she's just kind of toiling away at the same job. And I thought that was more of a rift than any kind of spite for pushing into the music career.
So you're saying that she spites him because she has to be
Not
the one
spite.
that
No,
takes all
why
the
spite?
brings all the money
Why
in.
is everything about spite?
So you're saying
I'm saying
she
that
hates him,
Yeah, right?
and he hates her.
She wants to smother him in
He
his
resents
sleep.
her for everything
Whew.
bad that's happened in his
No,
life.
I'm just saying that I think that was an issue in the relationship. That
Remind
did
me
not
not to
get
say
dealt
spite
with.
on this podcast again.
Oh my God.
No, it's very true though. You're not wrong.
I think Jacob. I think you're being dramatic.
Okay, well, why do you think
Let
I'm
us
being
know.
dramatic
I want to
here?
hear it.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's definitely something that's up for interpretation. I definitely didn't, and maybe it's just because I haven't had as much time to ruminate over the game yet. But I definitely just took it as like the shine coming off, and like real life takes work, and real relationships take work, and pursuing somebody's dream. So in this case, it's like him going to school, like that takes work. And I thought, like, I just kind of took it at that surface level.
Right, and maybe it's because this is the second time I've actually played this game. So I played it almost when it first came out. I bought it like in 2018, played through it, adored it. Spoilers, I really, really like this game. And maybe it's the second time is because like my brother is a musician, and like, you know, had an audition recently where he was like maybe not happy with the results.
Is he full of spite?
No, like his was more like about personal performance, not about any other extenuating circumstances. So I don't know why I went directly to spite. Maybe it's just because it's the second time I played this game and I'm interpreting things differently.
Maybe.
Let's go with
Yeah.
that.
I think it's just
Because
more
the
of a
game-
conflict.
Because like that's the thing, like the game goes back to the same initial mini games that you had at the very beginning, where her life was kind of in a rut. You literally play those mini games again. He's just present, like the brushing of the teeth, and like you have a moment where, okay, the game starts with her brushing. You have to force her to brush her teeth. Then the second time that you see her brushing her teeth, it's with him. It's happy. You don't actually even control it. They just both happily brush their teeth themselves. You're not even like in control at that point. And then the third time you see it, the relationship has kind of started to erode. And
Is that routine or erosion? 'Cause I don't think there's anything wrong with routine.
no, I don't think routine is wrong. I think it starts to erode at
Yeah.
that point, right? And then you have to kind of force her to get out of bed by pressing the snooze button. You got to brush her teeth, and then the job, like, because when it was really good, her job, she was doing great. The buttons automatically clicked for you. You didn't even have to do the matching game for her work. You didn't, because everything was going great. And then once it started to like chip away a little bit and the relationship started to falter, she got into that same rut.
I think it's a thing where it's your life is still your life.
Yeah.
Right? This new shiny relationship might make you happy.
Exactly.
But your life is still your life, and you haven't changed the things that you need to change. Like, she still is not happy with her job.
Exactly.
She's maybe more content at the time, but like once the shine comes off, and that's less of a thing that brings up her day.
Right.
Then it's like, oh no, I'm still at this job I don't like.
And maybe that's where Spike comes in. Only in that.
Bring the spike.
I disagree.
I'm not saying
There's no spike.
No, listen. I'm just saying that if he is pursuing his job, his stuff, and her life is still in a rut, I don't think she was feeling spike. I don't think the
just
game.
her life
can
is still
fade.
in that
Right.
state.
Her life is still in that rut. She'd never worked on herself.
Right, exactly.
And she was still, her problems were still her problems. He can't fix that for her.
No, yeah,
right?
for sure.
And despite whatever he was doing, in his own, with his career and his motivations and all that kind of stuff, she never fixed her own stuff. And she didn't learn to maybe love herself, maybe didn't get to learn to love what she did. And because of that, it chipped away at the relationship. Whether Spike was involved or not, I don't know. But it chipped away at the relationship because she was still in that kind of rut. This just kind of put a nice coat of paint over it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way that I saw it. And like to go on like a very baby small tangent. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It was maybe last year, the year before, where there was a free course offered by Harvard. It was called like The Science of Being Happy.
Oh no, I never.
So
heard
it's
of
all
this.
about like how we assume that things like relationships and things like getting a raise at work and making more money and getting a good grade, like those actually have significant impact on your well-being in life. And ultimately it's like the study scientifically proves that there is that kind of initial peak after these life moments,
Right.
and then you go right back down to baseline.
Right.
And that's something that I'm kind of thinking about, where it's like
You're just putting Band-Aids on things.
basically. So
Yeah.
if somebody like Florence, who maybe I don't think it's indicated at all that she's seeing Krish as
No.
a Band-Aid necessarily.
No.
But she does kind of not address the issues with her life and her
Right.
happiness and her passion of wanting to pursue art, that it's like it does just kind of become this temporary blip on the line for her.
Totally.
Yeah, I think, and not. I'm going off that, not to go way ahead, but I think that one of the reviewers said that they didn't love the ending of the game because it kind of just was left to interpretation. But like, did we play the same game? Because this whole game, as you can see from this conversation, is up to your own interpretation.
Yeah.
It's so short and it's left so open that you can look at a very simple problem either in one of two different ways, whether it's spite or whether it's just she needs to, work on herself
The
first.
title of this episode.
And
Spite.
it should be open to interpretation, I think, because it's like they're basically looking at a part of someone's life and how it like changed them or how they adjusted to what's going on or how it gave them new perspective on their life. And then you move on, and then you're going to make more mistakes and more decisions and more good calls and and who knows.
Yeah, because this game is, if we had to like guess, it's over like probably a 3-year period.
Yeah, that's
Because
sounds
there's
about right.
there's a 2-year jump at one point.
Yeah.
When erosion starts to begin in this erosion.
Erosion was tough.
Yeah, so I think that's
gosh.
kind of what happens next. Is
Yeah.
the relationship erodes.
And so and to kind of what I really liked to it continued with the fighting. So, which was really, really tough because it's still the same mini game of now they're fighting and you're having a conversation. You have to fill the blocks, the puzzle pieces in really quickly, but the puzzle pieces become more jagged and more sharp. So it's implying, okay, her words are more sharp. She's biting back a little bit, right? But then if you're not fast enough, he starts to overtake you. Then you fight him and it starts to overtake him.
You're kind of racing
exactly.
to put out your little dialogue blips.
Exactly. You're trying to pretty much win the conversation by proving your point faster than he does, right? And I don't know. The stuff they do with the dialogue is just really, really good, and I really like that about this game. But so they have fights, and it just keeps breaking them up, and then they play with the puzzle piece idea again, where they both go to bed, and you complete a puzzle, and it's an image of them laying in bed, and she is one piece, and he is another, and their pieces don't fit.
Yeah,
it's it's just super.
Oh yeah,
rough. I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just.
I had played this game before, and I forgot that, and I'm like, why isn't this going to? Because it doesn't go together.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they hate each other.
They don't hate each other.
You go to the extreme negative.
Oh my gosh.
emotions.
Why do you guys keep looking? They hate each other.
They
in
don't
this
hate
respect.
each other.
They're very angry with each
No,
other.
I think
not. I
especially
think it's
considering the way that
sad.
it ends.
Yeah.
And again, I know we'll get there, but I think that's also
No, I think it's a relationship that is slipping away, and they're and it's sad. I think it's sad more than that they're angry.
But I mean, when you're 25 or 28, even in this case, in this game, you don't move in with someone until you know that this is gonna be it, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's why it's sad more than anything.
Right, they thought maybe it was
in
gonna
the
work.
moment you're angry, but
Yeah, I think hate's a bit of a strong word.
it's like when
Jessica, you're
we have some looks
Yeah.
being exchanged.
You're gleaning a lot from my view on relationships from this episode, aren't you?
yeah. I'm not gonna. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
Everything's gonna be okay, everyone. I swear.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry.
It's fine.
But yes, I think it culminated in what affected me was when there's a picture that you're trying to put together of them hugging.
Yes.
And the pieces are literally drifting away from each other, and they're kind of drifting towards the edge of the screen, and I was scrambling to try and get them to be back together, and they don't even fit together, but they're all just kind of spreading everywhere, and it's you're scrambling to save this relationship that's slipping away. And yeah, it was really,
tough.
really, really good representation of that.
Yeah.
I love that as well. I think throughout the entire game, there's such a beautiful minimalism and
Yes.
simplicity to the story that they're telling, and just the idea of a picture with pieces that are drifting apart is just such a great visualization for a dying or a broken relationship.
Isn't that sad?
Isn't that sad?
It's
so
really
sad.
sad.
Yeah, it's not spiteful.
It's really
though.
sad.
Everything's just with purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even if they meant it or not, because at one point, you move into the place with Krish, and then obviously after this part, you break up and you move out. And whether they meant it or not, I couldn't remember what my stuff was, what her stuff was.
There was
and
a couple things.
Even when they're being intentional, I don't know if they're being intentional with the thing or it unintentionally just comes out. But they nail so much about relationships in the gameplay, whether they meant to or not.
Right. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some stuff in the kitchen that I was I think this was his.
Yeah.
I was this French press is his, but I'm keeping it.
And you could put nothing in the box, or you could put a little bit in the box and
Yeah.
then keep going, right? Or you could put all the things, be get out of my house, goodbye.
Right.
What is it? Art imitates life. Did you say life
Yeah.
imitates art?
One of those two things.
One of those two. So the drifting happens, the erosion happens, the breakup happens,
Yep.
and then you get the final kind of section of the game, which is
well, right before you have to start letting go.
right.
And
Oh,
that
letting
one
go.
is what got me, because it's it's pretty much her walking on a beach with him, and
Oh yeah, and you have to
And
just
you
stop.
yeah. So if if you don't touch anything, the game, she just keeps walking, and if you
And
press,
Krish kind of starts falling behind and fading a
so
little bit.
if you press any of the buttons or the joystick or anything, in my case, she stops moving and he catches up. And the touch that I really liked about this one is she keeps going away. The chapter title that says "Let Go" fades away. When you stop moving and Krish catches up,
The chapter
title comes up and it says "Let Go," and then I was like, "Oh, what?" And so then I didn't, and I walked away, and then I stopped again, and he caught up, and it says "Let Go," and it's like the game is telling you literally "Let go."
Yeah.
And so, like, in all ways in one, let go of the joystick, let go of the relationship, and like you had to. I don't know. This game just like really blows my mind with like the way that they manipulate.
How well thought out
every
bit is.
mechanism, every storyboard. It's just so smart. I love it. So
Yeah, visuals, music, and the
How you-
mechanics.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's all
mechanics.
linked together. Yeah,
yeah,
really, really
beautifully.
well.
Yeah.
Every single chapter, because there's 20 chapters in this game, has its own music to it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music,
Mm-hmm.
really good.
Yeah, the Kevin Penkin did a great job with the music.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of get the final arc of
Yes.
Florence, which is kind of almost her self-discovery.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm interpreting this the right way.
No, this is right.
Self-discovery.
This is right.
And then maybe realizing that, her life may be better off given the things she learned about herself in that relationship, and also the things that she learned about herself through pursuing her art full time.
Yeah.
Am I right or am I
you
wrong?
take what you gain from that relationship, and then you move on. You hopefully both move on better people,
Right.
Mhm.
whether it continued or ended.
Yeah. Jessica's got thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely didn't perceive it as like she sees her life as better without him.
No.
I think it's more about like what you learn and what you take from that relationship, and that it's also like I think it's also a really good conversation point on how you will learn, like every relationship is a jumping point, whether that's to another relationship or a jumping point for yourself. Like she took so much from that, and I think the chapter is called Inspiration. Is
You
it
may be
not?
right.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up while you continue.
Yeah, so she ends up taking the art palette from off of her desk.
Yes.
And she starts painting, and she eventually turns.
There's the clock again, the clock thing
Oh,
where you
that's
actually
right.
move the clock, and she's painting, and she's still painting, and she's still painting, which is like really, really great.
And she eventually turns it into her own business.
Yeah.
So you see her start to sell her work online, and she
has
quits her
an
job.
art show.
She has
and
an art show.
You get to interact with every single person that's looking at her art pieces, and she's happy, and it's like
And the music is like swelling
Oh,
at that
yeah.
point, and you're just like, yeah, get it, Florence, yes.
yeah, like it's really she now can move forward and maybe find a new relationship, a new love, and be in the right mindset and love herself and love what she does. And it may not, affect it won't affect a relationship again, like it did this one possibly. So,
But without Krish buying her the paint palette.
exactly.
That's
Would
the
she
thing.
have gone down that path?
Exactly.
Right? Like that's the biggest.
if she wasn't inspired,
Ooh.
yeah,
That's the thing. It's a mature look on relationships. It's not just like, oh, it started, now it's over, so that person is out, and like that person's dead to me, or like it's all good or all bad. It's like, no, you take what you learned, and yes, he did try to push her towards not being better, but
Like a route of self-improvement.
yeah, and just like pursuing what she enjoyed, and then it just didn't happen. It kind of fell by the wayside, but yeah, it came back around, and she found that thing that he did get for her, and then made it into something.
We had a question from Twitter from the greatest story ever played at StoryEverPod. How sad did you feel playing this game? Who cried? Because what was the over/under that you put out?
1.5.
1.5. On 3, do we want to raise our hands?
What constitutes a cry? Like a tear has to fall.
A tear has to come off your face.
Okay.
Are we just saying yes or no?
Yes. So we'll start with me. I cried
Nope.
both times.
Nope.
No, I didn't.
I didn't cry.
I welled multiple times, but not a tear fell.
I think weirdly enough
I
for
felt
me it was
sad.
I was very sad.
I felt extremely sad and like upset that like something so nice can just go so wrong sometimes. You know what I mean? Like with all the best intentions of like wanting a relationship to work, it's like things can just deteriorate.
Yeah.
and
It just doesn't work
It
out
just
sometimes.
doesn't work, and that's upsetting. I didn't cry, but that's very upsetting. You know.
And again, the way that they visualize that sadness
Mm-hmm.
and like really like brought that emotion out in like the drifting picture and packing away his items, like
Oh yeah.
Like
I probably could have cried.
the
Honestly,
tears were
The-
there.
I think the setting was not helpful for you crying.
I'm in a car.
Because yeah, we were driving.
I'm like, you have a cry setting? I'd like to
Well,
crank that
but,
down
like,
all the
if you're-
time.
No.
I have a cry setting.
Oh yeah.
Turn down my cry setting. No, no. I'm in a car. Me and Katie are in a car driving here,
Yeah.
and it's like 40 minutes away. So it's like perfect. I can.
Yeah. So I'm driving.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
in the
playing.
passenger- he's
I have my
playing the
headphones
game.
in. I'm playing the game, but like
Still
she's
in a
listening to
car,
like,
like-
the Arctic monkeys in the background. So like I get like the occasional like.
Hey, I put it low
Oh
enough.
no, it's good. Hey, I was totally fine with it. I just like I'm not in the right
No.
mindset and the right setting.
No, you're
to
driving on a
maybe-
highway, like, I
right.
don't
It's
know.
not like it's romantic or emotional.
Yeah, I
or
was in a
anything like
tub.
that. So yeah.
It was much more. It was a higher cry setting.
Right, yeah. If I was just home alone, I'm
I did
sure
not
I
cry.
probably would have cried, but I'm not going to cry in front of Katie. That's weird. Got to keep my manliness somehow.
No, just throw it away like I did.
Yeah.
And then the game just kind of ends like very openly, where it's
Yes.
just like
It was very sudden.
I loved it. I loved it.
I was just a little stunned. Like, it was abrupt, and I was like, "Oh, but I'm not ready for it to be done yet."
But that's the perfect kind of ending that
I
you
know.
want more.
Yes,
You've told me
absolutely.
this multiple times because whenever me and Katie discuss, like, let's say, movies or video games, and
Yeah.
I'm always like, I wish I had that like perfect
Or a
storybook
TV show.
ending. Yes, exactly. And it would have been terrific if they found a way back to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as good of an ending because a real ending is. This is the end of this story
Yeah.
because she's moving forward with her life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better ending, and I accept that, but the romantic in me doesn't like it.
Right.
I have an important question though for you, Jacob.
Okay.
If she spites him,
Uh-huh.
or no, I'm sorry. If he well, okay. I'll
If
phrase
there's
this differently.
spite involved.
If she feels like her life is better without him,
Uh-huh.
why did she take the picture from under her keyboard?
Oh, actually, no. You get the choice
Yes, you do get
It's
the
a choice.
of whether you can
Oh.
take it with you
Did
or
you
not.
take it
Oh,
with
I didn't.
you?
I
So
didn't
you're
realize it was a choice.
You're packing up your desk,
because I
and
took
you're
it with me because I thought you had to.
yeah from your
Yeah.
like office job.
Well-
You're packing up your desk, and then use the picture.
Well,
See, because you took it with you, because you were like, "Well, I have to
But
take it with
listen,
me."
I don't know what it is, but I think I turned 30, and as soon as I turn 30 in film, in games, in TV, the thing I don't want to see anymore is like if especially a female character, but like, or even if a male character like breaks up with their significant other and like because they realize that it is the best thing for both parties. I hate seeing either them getting back together.
Yeah.
Or even worse, like seeing them just immediately get into another relationship. I see it
Yeah.
all the time, and I don't. My favorite thing is when it just ends, and they're like, "This is where my life is now."
Yeah.
End. Faye. Done.
He broke at the French. He's so fired up.
Yeah. F-I-N. Period. Yeah.
I loved the ending. I thought again, I think Katie, like you said it, where it's like a really mature look on a relationship where, and I actually didn't realize it was a choice that you could leave the picture behind.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of like impacted my view on it.
It shows how you felt about the story.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
the
this is-
relationship.
Every relationship has a purpose, and even if it's not the forever relationship, you can still enjoy your time and you can still reflect back on that relationship positively.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it pushed her in a direction where she ended up happier and more fulfilled. And I think that I don't know. I thought that was beautiful. I didn't find it a sad ending.
No,
Right?
not by any means. The ending was definitely not sad. If anything, the ending was happy. We had to get through a lot of sadness to get there, but
Yeah.
the ending was a happy ending as far as I'm concerned.
Did everyone listen to the whole credits to listen to the music?
I did.
I did.
No, why? What happened?
No, I just
just nice.
I was just
Oh.
like, I just want to sit through the credits and listen to the music because I just thought it was nice.
Would it be the Florence track?
I don't know.
It was just nice.
It was nice, pretty music.
I think it went through different songs in the game because it was
Yeah.
long enough. Yes, it was that.
Yeah, I was just like,
Also, there was a long list of backers, and so every backer was in the credits, so the song went on for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, that's very much like Broken Age, which we played a while ago. The credit scene is there are thousands of people in that thing.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts about Florence before we play a little game that I've prepared for you?
Oh my goodness, a game. No, I have no other. I mean, final thoughts wise, no. I love this game. This game was great. I never would have played it if you hadn't told me to play it. But yeah, I loved it. So bring on the game.
Well, geez, I guess you don't care about.
Oh no, give me.
It's fine.
Wait, bring on your final thoughts, and then bring on the game.
Well, I thought it was a beautiful, very short game, which was great. I was so happy. It was just short, and I played it, and I felt really good after. It was refreshing. No, I'd recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, it's $7.50 on Switch. Worth it?
Oh, definitely.
It was
Yeah.
like $4 on my iPhone.
Yeah, I just can't wait till it hits
Canadian.
a service like Xbox Live Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass, where like you have literally no excuse to play this game. You just
Oh,
Yeah.
on my Switch, it had rumble features.
Oh,
So
Really?
like when I pressed buttons or like shook the Polaroid or anything like that, the thing shook. It was
That's
really
fun.
really nice.
Really
Yeah,
nice.
just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, let me read something I wrote years ago about this game. If you're a sucker for a good romance or romantic comedy like myself, do yourself a favor and grab one of the most unique experiences in gaming from the past few years. Just make sure you bring headphones and tissues. That's my final thoughts about Florence. Jessica?
I clearly I loved it. One of my other favorite things about the ending was when you see the flip to the Polaroids being moments with her mom, and she joins a sketch club, and she gets a cat.
Oh, Loaf.
Oh,
So,
the cat.
I loved it.
You immediately came out after you played it and you're like, oh, Loaf.
Loaf. I hope is Loaf in the game.
The-
Will Loaf be part of your?
no, Loaf will not be. But
Oh, shoot.
we are now going to enter the Left Behind game show. I just have a series of questions. I want to hear everyone's buzzers. So, like, we'll start with buzzers over here. This is Katie's buzzer. This is Travis's buzzer. And this is Jessica's buzzer. So I'm going to ask...
Sounds like Jessica's wrong.
Mine's long.
I feel like you're wrong. Your buzzer sounds like you're wrong. You already got it wrong, Jess. Immediately.
I'll make my own sound.
I just have a series of 8 questions to ask you, 1 point per answer, and then the final question is more of an open one, so we'll see. The very first question is very simple. How many chapters are in this game? Katie?
Oh,
20.
20 is the correct answer.
gosh.
So Katie has 1 point. Can you hold up one finger for me? Thank you. On what holiday was this game originally released? Jessica.
Valentine's Day, which also
Depressing.
Right? You better
are-
be very secure in your relationship if you're
That
playing
is
this. on
a
Valentine's Day.
cry setting.
That is correct. What is the name of the developer of this game? Jessica.
Mountains.
Mountains is correct. She has the benefit of having just played it, but I digress. What is Krish's instrument of choice? Katie.
The cello.
That is correct. 2 points for Katie, 2 points for Jessica.
0 for me.
0.
Where did Florence and Krish's first fight take place? Travis.
Groceries.
At the grocery store. That is correct. Here's a fun fact. Over 50% of this game's sales came from a country outside of North America. Name the country. Katie.
Australia?
Incorrect. Travis.
Sweden.
Incorrect.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Jessica.
Japan.
China is the correct answer.
Uh,
So 2 points for Katie, 1 point for Travis, and 2 points for Jessica. This is the final question before the final question, so second to last. How many Game Awards did this game win in 2018? Jessica.
1.
1 is the correct answer. They won for Best Mobile Game, and they were also nominated for Best Debut Indie Game and the Games for Impact category.
I was going to say all of them.
All of them. So this is the final round. This is an open-ended question, so the person that buzzes in first will get to answer, and then we'll move kind of right to left in my direction. So in this final round, the question is, this game was published by Annapurna Interactive. They have a stellar catalog of great games. For 1 point each, name one of their other titles. Whoever buzzes in first gets a first crack. They have published 12 other games.
God.
Yes, so far. Who's in first?
What if I'm wrong?
Then you're out. You basically keep going until you can keep getting points until you can't get any more.
I don't have my phone on me.
Can someone buzz in? Anyone. We've played
Have we played any of them?
1, 2, 3 on the podcast. 3 other ones. So Katie, you're first.
What Remains of Edith Finch?
That is correct.
Yes, I didn't know. I took a shot.
1 point. So Travis, do you have any?
You've played it on the podcast.
We've played 3 of them on the podcast. There are 12 total.
The Witness.
Incorrect. You are out.
That's a
Jessica.
Nice shot.
Night in the Woods?
Incorrect. Katie, you've already won, but can you name any more?
I'm trying to think of a game that you've played.
They're like art.
Yeah.
They're art house games. A lot of their games, essentially. What do you think, Jessica? Just say it.
Batman?
No.
Batman. It's not an art house.
No, I know, but I don't know. I'm grasping at straws. I'm just thinking of the last episodes.
Telltale.
No.
I have like the picture. I don't know. Journey.
Correct. they published the Microsoft Windows and iOS versions of that game.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
Booyah.
you've won for sure now.
Well, I won't drop this mic, but I kind of want to.
You have 10 more that you can guess from.
No, I'm done.
You're done. The correct answers were What Remains of Edith Finch, Flower, Gorogoa, which we saw at PAX Travis,
okay.
Florence, Donut County, Gone Home, Ashen, The Outer Wilds, Journey, Telling Lies, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Watam, and Kentucky Route Zero.
Okay.
Art house games for sure.
Yeah, I know of
Batman?
Batman.
So the winner of our game is Katie.
Booyah.
Woo!
Thank you.
Last segment before we close out the show, Travis, you brought up recommendations for games that you reminded you of Florence. Were there any other recommendations you guys had for media? Could be film, could be music, could be games that you would play if you liked Florence.
The recommendation machine.
I can go and give a few to start this off. What Remains of Edith Finch is a game that we've played on this podcast. It is not the same from a like gameplay perspective. It is a like first person
Like a narrative walkthrough.
It's a walking simulator kind of, but it tells the story of a family over time. It's also published by Annapurna. It's fantastic. If you like the way this game felt, I'd probably go to a WarioWare game, like a WarioWare Microgames Inc. on the Game Boy Advance or on 3DS WarioWare Gold. Anyone else have any recommendations for games? No? This one's a unique one, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I've never played anything like this.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. We tried. So with that, we are finished with this episode of the Left Behind Game Club. But before you leave this podcast, if you're not subscribed to us on your podcasting platform of choice, please do so. And you can find all information about this show on Twitter at Left Behind Club, on Instagram at Left Behind Game Club, and you can find all of the information about us on our website at leftbehindgame.club. You can join our Discord, which is a cool place to talk about video games and cool video game deals. You can find that information on our website. There's a big button on the front page. Folks, we'll go around the table and share where people can find you on the internet. We'll start with me. You can find me on the internet at Jacob McCourt on all major social media platforms. Katie, where can people find you if they want to find you on the internet?
I'm in the Discord. I'm Lesbrack. I'm there. If you want to talk to me.
Travis?
I'm on the Twitter at Travis Colenutt.
Talking about X-Men usually, yeah?
That's usually what I'm talking about.
You're in the Discord too, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And Jessica?
You can find me lurking in the Discord.
And what's your Discord handle?
I always forget it. I think I'm Jess Fan on Discord.
I think you're either that or just
Well, that's funny
Pause.
because I'm
One of
Jess
them.
Fan on the Discord.
Yeah, oh, damn.
Very good. And that, my friends, is one less game left behind.
Inside. Pokemon! Gotta catch 'em all.
It's you and me.
I know it's my destiny.
Pokemon.
Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend.
Pokemon.
What's it? I heard so true.
My courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Pokemon. Oh.
There we go. Beautiful.
That's saved forever.
That's saved forever. Please test your microphones. All right.
Very good.